So I splurged a little bit on eBay and I picked up an Asus H61M-A / USB3. If you can see this 3 there, maybe you can. Motherboard. It's a micro ATX LGA 1155 motherboard. It supports Sandy Bridge and Ivy Bridge CPUs, including all Celerons, Pentiums, i3s, i5s, i7s, and Xeons, low power Xeons, and high power Xeons. However, Asus's website does say that some features may be disabled, blah blah blah, since Xeon is not a desktop CPU, obviously. However, that's not what I'm making this video about. What I'm making this video about is that I picked this up for 30 bucks. I don't know if it works or not. The person that I picked it up from on eBay has a spotless feedback record, and I decided to take a chance on it. Apparently there's not much to go about here. There's 4 SATA ports on the bottom left-hand side there, which are SATA 3, I believe. They may be... Yeah, they're just SATA 3. SATA 2. You know what I mean. SATA 2, 3 gigabit a second. You get the idea. There's information there. 60A445CA. That might actually be the MAC address there for this board on the 24-pin header for the stuff. So, interesting. I have a power supply slated to go with this in the garage, if not for the, if not to go with the, whatchamacallit, the 790i motherboard, which I want to do a video about soon. Oh, excuse me, I had a little bit of a hangnail there. Got rid of it. It has onboard, it has a couple things for onboard VGA and stuff. And that's because, well, there's VGA, DVI, HDMI, and that's about it over there. You can sort of see it right there. But I don't have any DDR3 at the moment. I don't have an LG 1155 CPU of any kind. And so this is going to have to sit in a box until a later date when I can actually find such amenities to make this happen. This is where YouTube may or may not come in. I am looking for a very, very, very low-end CPU to drop in this to make sure that this thing works. I can get some DDR3 rather easily from my brother, or I probably have some ECC stuff that may or may not work. And I want to start this up and see what happens. There was one bent pin on the LGA grid that I moved back over into place, and I will not be showing that because I only have 2 hands here, and if I take one hand off this, it's going to start shaking uncontrollably because I'm not used to holding my Nokia all too much again, and I need to get back into doing that. However, the BIOS for this, last BIOS that was released for this came around someplace in September of 2014, so by the time that I get this all going and thereabouts, it may or may not be a year-old BIOS or so. Apparently this was the seller's personal computer, personal motherboard in his personal computer, before they moved up to, I think it was either Haswell or Broadwell based whatever. I really don't care because I have the board now and they don't. Yeah. But I digress. I want to get this running. I just want to get it running. I want to see it run. I want to see it turn on. I want to see it do stuff. And at the current moment, that is not possible. Why is that? Because I don't have that and I don't have these. So, I am hoping that by putting this video up on YouTube, someone that is subscribed to me or someone that may have a Celeron or Pentium of some kind that is really low end for an LGA 1155 motherboard would be willing to possibly part with it for either a very low price or for nothing and to just send my way. I need to see if this thing runs. I want to, in the future, probably put this into my 4U server box case over behind me in my back right corner behind me that you can't actually see, but I can see just fine. I'm not going to move my camera over there right now because basement is still a mess, as it always has been and probably always will be, because I'm lazy. That's just how it is, sadly. So, aside from the board, I did get a couple of other amenities that usually come with the board. I got the original box that came with the board. I got the user guide, which I'll probably not even need to freaking read because every single motherboard that I've ever come across is pretty much the same. I am going to need to reference this, however, for the front panel stuff over here, if that's it. Yeah, it shows it in the silk screen on the thing there, but I'm going to have to reference that anyway. A couple other things I'm going to have to reference for other different connectors that are over here, because there's a lot of other USB 2 and stuff connectors over there, and I just want to make sure everything's nice and happy and all that stuff. Aside from that, everything else is pretty much straightforward. How to install the CPU, how to install the power supply, how to install the board inside a case. It's all just, it's common sense. So I'm not going to need to worry about this at all, save for all of those jumper headers and all that crud. Also came with the original, the chipset support DVD for all that stuff. I'm probably going to have to use this if I want to install Windows on it to get the driver for the SATA going. That's probably about it. Past that, I'm probably not going to need the CD at all, because I don't believe in using the drivers off the CDs. I believe that even with a brand spanking new motherboard that's right off the shelf, that was just released yesterday, I still believe that it is best practice to not use the drivers off the CD, but to use the drivers off the websites that you, for whichever brand of motherboard it is. For in this case, it's Asus. So you would go to Asus's website, pop in the model, and get the drivers from there, not to use the ones on the DVD at all, if at all possible. It's just not the correct way to do it. It's silly to do that and think that you're going to get away with it clean. Not only will you find that, but you may also find that there is a BIOS update for your particular motherboard that you should be doing, because it'll improve stability of something. And then you'll find out that there was a driver released really haphazardly and very quickly because they needed to fix something that was obviously wrong with the driver or something, and it's all Intel's fault or it's all Asus's fault for some strange reason. Or maybe something adds in better RAM support and that's why your board isn't booting up. And then you have to go play the switcheroo game to get RAM that does work, and then you have to apply it, and then you have to get your RAM you want already. You want to get the RAM that you wanted to have already again. Just no. Also came with apparently came with a couple of them, but I only received one back. A Molex to SATA adapter, which will come in handy for something, probably not for this, because the power supply that I'm going to be using with this most likely has a lot of SATA connectors on it. And of course, the final thing and the last thing, and oh my god, something really weird happened here. Someone needs to die. Oh, does someone ever need to die? Someone decided that it would be a good idea to take all of the pins. Oh my god. That is... Okay. I this is the first time I'm seeing how bad this is. Okay, so here's the back plate, right? Right? You see that? You see that? That's what I really hate about stuff. Not only did they clip that out with what appears to be a pair of wire cutters of some kind, probably small ones, but they did it to every single port on the thing. So now none of the ports are going to be properly grounded to the back plate. That's the entire reason for those spring pieces of springy metal there. So now none of them are going to have that, which isn't a big problem, as you may think, because the board is still going to be grounded. It's just, now I have to deal with straightening that out so I don't cut myself, and probably have to take a Dremel to it or something. And I'm going to have to do the same to all of them so I don't end up cutting myself. Ah. Okay, a couple of them did survive, but even then, just why would you do that? Someone is absolutely horrible and needs to be shot, and I don't know if it needs to be the guy that I bought this from, or if it's just this may have been a secondhand motherboard after all in the end. Just, oh my god, someone needs to be shot. Someone needs to be shot for doing this. This is just, you don't do this. You don't do this. And that's the end. I thought this was going to be a very happy and very calming video for me to make because it included everything and I could get some stuff off of my chest. And it ended up being that I got a lot more off my chest than I originally intended to, because now I saw that. Well, with that said, I'm going to once more repeat, if anybody watching this video has a low-end Celeron or Pentium LGA 1155, that's LGA 1155, Sandy Bridge or Ivy Bridge CPU, that they are not currently using and don't plan to be using anytime soon at all whatsoever, and would like to either give it to me or sell it to me for a very low price, I am all ears. I may also be interested in the heatsink, the original OEM heatsink that it comes with, since I do not currently have any heatsinks that will fit LGA 1155, save for a Hyper 212 Plus, which I would not like to use for this particular project if at all possible. I will deal with the crudiness of the OEM heatsink as is needed to get this running, because I need to make sure that this works. If that means that the CPU is going to be running a little warmer than usual, I will take it. And with that, I bid thee adieu. Until next time, I'll see you later. Or you'll see me later. Or not.